Hello chaps, it's 𝐒𝐿𝐲 and welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm doing a highly requested beginner's makeup tutorial, and this is the look that I came up with. So we're about to get into that. Today I'm going to be explaining all of my techniques, and I'm going to try and keep it really simple, but I'm mostly just explaining, hoping that it will be easy for a beginner to follow. If you have any questions, you can just comment them down below and I'll try to answer them. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. Alright, so this is my face starting off, and all I've done at this point is just moisturize, and I want to emphasize the importance of cleaning your skin and like prepping before and after you take off your makeup. A lot of times, if I don't exfoliate before putting on my makeup, which I don't do that every day obviously, it just like my skin gets really textured and it will make my makeup come out really bad and cakey like. So if you have problems with texture and you don't do your makeup every day, try to exfoliate. You don't need to prime if you're moisturizing. Like, I think moisturizer is basically a primer in itself, but I'm still going to prime because I really like how smooth this makes my skin look. And this is the Professional Pore Primer. I'm just going to put it on the parts where I feel like I have the most texture or my makeup doesn't stay. I'm just gonna rub that in. I try not to put too much of this stuff on because like it'll put this white cast on my face if I use too much. Now we're going to be moving on to foundation. I'm using this Clinique Even Better Makeup Broad Spectrum. It evens and corrects. What you want to do, ideally, is put it on the back of your hand because, I don't know, it warms it up or something. I'm sorry if you heard that squirt into my mic. I like to apply it in one place and like work in sections. I know this looks like it doesn't match, but I promise it does. I am very big on working in sections because stuff just dries unnaturally weird on my skin. You might see a lot of people giving tips about letting products sit on your skin, but that just doesn't work for me. If I don't blend out immediately, it's going to make me look very caked up. Right here, I'm just applying a thin, even layer of my foundation on the section that I'm working on, and this will help it to apply evenly over the face as opposed to dotting it on. I kind of try to avoid my under eye just a bit so it doesn't get caked up once I put on all of my concealer and everything. I like to put just a tiny bit on my eyes too with the leftover product. I would be applying this with a brush for like a more skin texture, but I personally find it easier to blend with a beauty blender. I just find it so hard to put on foundation with like a brush. It always ends up looking streaky on me. I want to point out the fact that I'm not really covering my nose. Like, I'm using the leftover product to cover it because in most people our nose is way more textured than the rest of our face. This is mostly due to nose pores being larger than those located on your other parts of your face. This is because the sebaceous glands underneath them are larger too. Sorry if I mispronounced that. So just use the leftover product to dap that onto your nose. Now we are going to move on to concealer. First, I'm gonna go in with a concealer that's pretty close to my skin tone, if not just a little bit lighter. And I'd recommend just putting on a little bit. Keep it in a very controlled area. To keep it simple, I just like to put it in the darkest parts of my eye bags, and I try not to go too close up into my eye because the product spreads a lot. If your face is really big on the side like mine, it's better to keep the concealer in a tiny area to make your inner face look smaller. Makeup is all about illusion, like it's literally just this big ass art form. What I do is I start from the outer edge. I like to keep the product where I put it. The reason I do this is because if you blend the product out, it will give the appearance that your face is bigger than it actually is. So I like to blend in to keep the highlights really small so my face appears like less big. I like to work in sections with concealer too because I find if I let it sit, it makes my skin look really weird. I'm just highlighting here to lighten up this area. Now we are going to move on to contouring. We'll go back to concealer after this, but I like to contour and then put on my lighter concealer. So I'm going to, feel in your face where your cheekbones are. Follow that. I promise that will never fail you. You see, this is hella low and I have a really short face. I want to try and elongate my face because like my jaw is so small. So I'm going to contour higher. See, if I were to contour where that line is right there, my upper face would just look super long and my bottom face would be disproportionate to that. You can mix this up too by making your cheeks look more circular or just like doing a straight line, but for now I'm just going to follow how my actual cheekbones sit. And then I'm going to contour here. And this is just to make my jaw look sharper. And I'm gonna do this while looking forward with a relaxed face so that I'm actually contouring where people are going to see. I'm gonna do just a bit on my forehead. I don't have like a big ass forehead, but I do like to pull it together because when I don't do my forehead, it looks kind of weird. To make my face just look more like defined, I'm also going to contour here. Kind of like if I were actually drawing a skeleton, like I try to go based off anatomy with where I do things. Where all the shadows hit, that's where I like to contour. So I'm gonna let that contour sit and we're going to do my nose. I'm gonna be taking this angled brush and I'm using the Fenty Matchstick. This is in Truffle. Is it called the Yeah, it's called the Matchstick. Alright, so what I'm going to do is basically, I don't really know how to explain this one, just watch. We're kind of gonna go up where the sides are, and then I'm gonna do a little line just below the tip of my nose. And now I'm going to go up. Do you see where my natural contour is? I'm gonna go up from there. My nose is kind of lopsided, so it doesn't always come out perfect, but it doesn't matter. Sometimes you'll have to adjust if your features are like off. I like to make my nose look skinty. No hate to my own nose because it's like already skinny, but what I like to do is right where the highlight ends, I like to go there, and I'm gonna straighten that up. I try not to put too much product on my nose because it can end up looking very muddy. I don't go up here, one, because of my piercing, it makes it look awkward, and two, I already have like a pronounced brow bone. If you have a flatter face and don't have a pronounced brow bone, then you'll need to contour there. You don't need to, but it just like, if you already have the brow bone, you don't really have to contour there. So this is an all over / conceal brush. I don't really use it for concealing. I use it for blending out everything. And I use this side not for concealer, but for my nose, because I just feel like it's a really good brush. You can also use an angled brush. I like to use that, but this has just always been my go-to brush. Like, it's gotten me through everything. I can't give up on it now. I'm gonna try to keep that product right where I put it. I'm gonna try not to like bring it out or anything, but just keep it where I've put it. Now I'm going to take the lighter concealer, and this is the Glossier Stretch Concealer in G8. And I'm gonna just like clean up my nose contour and put it on with my finger, but then I'll blend it out with my beauty blender. Alright, now I'm gonna go ahead and blend out the rest of this. And I just like to do like brush strokes, like very light brush strokes to blend it out. And I always blend up. No matter what area I'm doing, always blend up. Unless I'm on the chin, then I just kind of do circles to keep it in place. Last, I'm going to contour my lips. And we're not gonna go crazy with this because it can look a little crazy if you go too crazy, but I feel like it really makes a difference. It makes your lips look way plumper. I'm just going to like lightly overline them. Now I'm just going to blend that out. I'm gonna mostly try to blend in. Now we're going to head on to blush. Before we get into blush, I'm just gonna give you some tips because incorrect blush placement can affect the outcome of the final look. So really quick, I'm just gonna go over some tips to help you accentuate your facial structure. First, let's talk about blush types. There are 3, but I'm only going to be explaining 2 to you today. First up are brightening tones, and these tones are meant to plump up or firm your face. They should be applied on the cheek area or under your eyes. Next up is contouring shades, and like the name implies, these shades will enhance your facial structure. Both of these blush types can be used together to make your face look more snatched. I don't use this method in the video, but I didn't really give any tips on blush placement or anything in the video, so I just want to throw this in here. So now back to the video. I'm going to be using an eyeshadow palette for this. This is technically a brush for powder, but I use it for blush. So I'm just going to take a little bit because when you're using eyeshadow, it's more concentrated. I'm going to put it here. And I just kind of blend that in with my contour. I don't like to go crazy with blush. Now we're going to move on to highlighting. I am using this e.l.f. Glow Gleam Beam palette. I don't fucking know. I'm gonna use this shade right here. I'm just gonna put that on the tip of my nose and then the bridge of my nose. And then I'm gonna use this brush again. This brush goes with me through everything, and kind of put that like where the natural highlight would be. You can also highlight up here on your lip. I like to go down these lines. I look so stupid, but yeah, I like to highlight there. Moving on to brows. Really quick before we do brows, I just wanted to show you guys a few tips, and you can pause to read these because I'm not going to narrate them, but I didn't really go into tips while doing my eyebrows, so I just want to put these out here. They're pretty self-explanatory. I tried to make these illustrations to show you what I meant, but they kind of look bad. I'm sorry if they offend you. I hope they get my point across, but yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory anyways. I'm gonna keep this pretty simple because like I don't go crazy about brows, but I like to draw them on with this Glossier brow flick pen. This is in the shade Black. When I'm using this pen, I like to start at the front of my brows and I just draw on the brush strokes very lightly. It's kind of hard and it takes a while to master, but if you're already an artist and have a very steady hand, I think you'll get the hang of it pretty easy. And then I move on to the back and start going darker, and I'll explain that more in a second. Once I get to the back, I do like go harder with my strokes to deepen it up because I like to keep the front very light. But with the back, I do go darker for an ombre effect. I grew up mostly drawing portraits, so I'm just pretty naturally good at drawing eyebrows. But at the top of your eyebrow, you'll want to do down strokes, and at the bottom, you'll want to do up strokes. And then in the middle, I kind of do like whatever the hell I want. Now we're going to move on to eyeshadow. Again, I'm using this palette, and I'm not going to do a complicated eyeshadow look today. I'm going to do something that I think is easy, and I'm just gonna do one color all over on top of my lid. I'm concentrating most of this on my lid and then blending it out up top. You can do different shapes to like accentuate, like if you want to bring it out like in more of a V shape you can, but I just like to do it mainly like where my lid is. Now I'm gonna take some of that on my bottom lid. I like to do like this to see where not to go past. I'm gonna go back in with the angled brush, and I'm gonna take this shade called Prospect. We're not gonna do any eyeliner, we're just going to do a little eyeshadowing. And I have hooded eyes, so I like to keep my eye open, and that's where I'll draw my wing. And then when I close my eye, I just do that little V. Alright, so now I'm gonna take it all under here, and just I'm gonna connect it to this wing, and also I'm gonna blend out this wing in a second to like go more with the eye. What I'm also going to do is do a little eyeshadow on my inner corner. I just like how it pulls the eye together, and I feel like it makes my eye look bigger. I'm gonna take the brush I used for this shade and just blend out the edges. There we go, that's our simple eye look. I'm gonna do the same to the other side. So now we're gonna move on to the most dreaded thing for beginners, which is eyelashes. Also, I promise I did not forget mascara. So I like to use this glue, the Duo glue, and it's the one that's like dark. It's dark tone. And I personally think this makes it blend way better, but this is very intimidating for beginners. So I think you should use this. I wish it was 2012 and I was watching PewDiePie right now, to be honest. There's her with glue on, and I'm gonna take my thumb and just, yeah. If you have a new pair of lashes, you're gonna wanna cut them to the shape of your eye. I don't really have a new pair of lashes, so I can't show you that right now, but kind of see where it lands on your eye. I don't like to go further than there and then cut where it goes over. You can kind of experiment with that though. And we're gonna give our lash a little 1-2, 1-2 to help like keep the shape better for like curved for our eye. I'm gonna put on my mascara first and then we'll see how the lashes are drying. I'm just gonna take this Pacifica Natural Beauty Dream Big whatever mascara, and what I like to do is start from the root and shimmy up. I feel like that just coats it all the way, and you have to make a crazy face while doing it. It won't work if you don't make a crazy face. So I feel like my eyelashes are dry enough. You want to wait for them to get like tacky, and I feel they are tacky enough. So this is the hardest part for a lot of people, but what I like to do is, a lot of people start from the middle. I like to eye where the inner corner is going to be, and then I do place it on the middle. And you want to make sure that's as close to your lash line as like humanly possible. Now we can move on to lips. I don't know why I always do lips last, but it's just I like to, because lips don't last like that throughout the day. I'm gonna do a very simple look that I get a lot of compliments on, and I'm taking this Super Stay ink crayon. I like to go where my lips are naturally kind of red. Then I like to do the contours too of my lips. I'm gonna go in with a lip gloss, and this is the NYX Butter Gloss in Praline. And I'm just going to go over that. I'm gonna kind of a little bit overline my lips with it, just a little bit. I feel that little bit of overlining with it makes it look like you just got filler. Alright, so I'm here live and we're about to do the completed look reveal. Okay, yeah. There we go, here's the completed look. Pretty cute if I do say so myself.